You know what? I received a message the other day. Somebody said there is an outage. I'm on Verizon, but I had no service. I said, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't live in the United States. I no longer live in Columbus, Ohio. So I was like, oh, what are you talking about? And they said that there was an outage. I looked it up and it said the entire network, Verizon's entire network had an outage. And I said to myself, this is exactly why you do not want to be in the United States. This is exactly why something crazy is happening with passports. People are saying their passport is logged as stolen or lost when it's really not. And they have to go to the embassy and go through all of these hoops. There are weird things happening in January 2026. And that Verizon outage was one of them, where I saw a meme today on Instagram. Somebody said this quote from Verizon. It's not really from them, but this is like what they would have been saying. 2026 is the year to cut everybody off. That's what Verizon did. They cut everybody off. You were making no calls. Doesn't matter you had to call 911. Doesn't matter you want to go on Instagram. Doesn't matter you have your job, your business. Verizon said, nope.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I told my wife, like, maybe we need to talk about this, because we are here in Africa, and if you have been following us, you know we lived in Tanzania, and when the elections comes up, there's a lot of things happening around that time, so they do cut off the internet, and of course we like the people that's in America. They're like, oh, why did they do that? Oh, they could do that, and then we kind of forget about what really be happening in America with these, mobile networks. Because this is something like, wow, they can do that. And it kind of reminds me of, maybe I'll save that for a little bit later. But it gets down to, you got to be prepared, because these things that's happening right now, they can literally do anything. You can't be fearful. You can't just like really just live in a box and say, oh, everything's just going to be, they control everything so they can cut it off when they want. Yes, that's a fact. They can. But it just depends on how are you going to maneuver around these things, because this is something serious. Like, is internet really that important to you? I know it is important to us because, we work online. We do things online on the internet. So if that happens, what would you do? That's a good question.
And that is unheard of for Verizon, because Verizon is said to be one of the best networks. But I want to iterate the fact that even if you went abroad, excluding like Canada, Europe, definitely excluding those areas. But if you went to Qatar, if you were in Tunisia, Morocco, Madagascar, Seychelles, you would not be using Verizon. Verizon would not function. I want to make that clear, because a lot of people, expats, don't understand this. This is why we have the Mature Adult Intensive, to go over these logistics, to plan, because you have to understand, what is a VPN? How do I use technology while abroad? How do I keep my stuff secure? How do I get a power of attorney before going abroad? What are some of the steps that I need to take as an individual? And we assess our clients' specific requirements based on their circumstance. Because a lot of people think, well, I can just take T-Mobile and Verizon to, France. In France, it would work. In the UK, it probably would work. But the moment you step out towards like Western Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Southeast Asia, well, they're not really on those systems, okay? Especially the islands of the sea, even like Oceania, Tuvalu, Vanuatu. Some of these places that have really wonderful residence permits for expats, you are not going to be using Verizon or T-Mobile or anything like that. Now, they do have new eSIMs out that I found out recently that could potentially work in some of these areas. But again, this is going to be similar to like a Verizon or T-Mobile, where the US is implementing it or Europe is implementing it. You may not be able to use it in those particular locations. And so you will be on a totally different power grid, a totally different underground internet system, because the internet over here in Africa is actually under the sea through like some of the French cables that they have, some of the Arabian cables that they have, some of the Chinese networks that they have. And so it's not even on an American network, but this is something expats tend to not understand, okay? But I've just enlightened you and showed you that. So leave a comment down below and let me know if you learned something. Also, let us know, do you have Verizon? Were you a part of the outage? I know T-Mobile people were like, well, T-Mobile, they may be a little ghetto, but they work. I saw that on threads. They're like, people may look down on T-Mobile, but T-Mobile worked for people, okay?
Yeah, just a quick story for because we were like that. This is why we don't speak on anything that we haven't really went through. So when we first was traveling international to Africa, we had our layover was in Turkey, and we thought since we got the international plan or something like that, it will work. And we had to connect to Wi-Fi and call them and tell them, hey, we're here internationally. You know, tell our banks everything. Hey, we are here. We're trying to swipe. It's not working. So these are the things that we go over because we actually went through it. But if you want to do that, if you can do that, that's okay. It's just going to be a little bit slower and it's going to be very expensive. So it's probably like, I want to say $20-something for, you know, a couple of days. And if you are really someone that uses your phone and get on the internet and stuff pretty much every day, yeah, that's going to add up. So the best bet is to familiarize yourself with these other networks that is in a country that you want to, you know, travel to and you know, live in, because they work perfectly fine.
Yeah. They
have 4G, they have 5G. I'm not sure about, you know, 6G. I know it's talks about 6G now. So yeah, it's perfectly fine. I know a lot of people are starting to wake up and realize like these other third world countries is actually nice. And this is what we've been saying since we, you know, arrived here in Africa on the continent. Like, hey, we thought Africa was like lions and stuff like that, just roaming around. No, it's really stable. You know, the infrastructure is really nice. It like, especially here where we are, the infrastructure, it makes sense. The roads is paved. They have windmills where the wind blows the most. So as the wind is blowing from the east, that's where most of the electricity is generated from to generate, you know, the landmass. So, you know, you just gotta understand that it's okay. Like, it really is. You're gonna figure it out. It's nothing that you cannot figure out.
Yeah, there's already a solution. For every one problem, there are 5 solutions that are already present, but you just have to figure out what they are. For you, that may be strategy, that may be preparation. If you're somebody that knows, man, if I go abroad and I cannot connect to my bank when I'm in Istanbul, Turkey, when I'm in Doha, Qatar, I'm gonna be irritated. I'm gonna think I need to go back to the States. Then prepare ahead of time. That's why channels like ours exist, so you can understand how to maneuver expat life, not with lifestyle in mind, but with infrastructure and logistics in mind. Healthcare, safety, anti-corruption, all of those things that expats never think about, never talk about until it's too late. And they're potentially like, hey, I just want to go back to the West because they did not properly plan.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Look, you got to go over the details. You got to dot your I's and cross your T's and cross your X's too. So, you know, it's really something that you really have to, you know, it's okay. It's okay. I know for us, this is life. So we kind of got to like backtrack and think about like, what did we go through? I really forgot about us going through that in Turkey and having to pay the international plan every couple days and calling our bank and stuff like that. But this is what we go over. This is what we go over
in the mature
adult intensive in detail. So yeah, like we don't say these things for no reason. It's very important. It is.
Yep. Well, I think that's it for this video. Shout out to Verizon for cutting everybody off in 2026. I don't know. Will T-Mobile come next? Do you think this is going to happen again? Do you think this was a cyber attack from Russia or China? Do you think this has to do with geopolitics? You let us know all of your thoughts in the comments. We actually read them and go through them, and absolutely love to hear from you guys because you guys are wise and smart as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, you cannot live in fear. You really can't. Because I know a lot of people, they say, oh, they control everything. You know, they do. They can, you know, just what happened in Venezuela. That's what I was going to say. What happened in Venezuela when, you know, the troops went in to get the president, right? They had... Exactly.
Serious. Having trouble with the connection.
My point exactly. But before they came in, they had the whole city blacked out. You get what I'm saying? Yes, they can do this.
Communication outage.
It's something that can happen, but you can't be fearful.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be living in fear. Fear is not of the Most High. Only joy, love, peace, abundance,
power, authority,
yeah, all of
boldness.
Yes, because it is time to step into that. You know, it's no fear. It's no fear over here. So, all praises. Hope you guys enjoyed the information. Make sure you like the video, leave your comments, and we will talk to you in the next one.
Shalom, shalom.